one tip that I want to give you this week is about a very neat kit that you can get, and it's called a hookout kit. What the kit includes is a whole bunch of items that will help you in case you have an emergency. So the kit comes with instructions and everything that you need so that if you do have a mishap, you can very carefully take a hook out with the least amount of pain where you're not inflicting damage. If someone is hooked severely, anywhere maybe around the eye or very deep, maybe into a tendon, and I've been saltwater fishing where I've seen very large hooks go right through people's hands, then you're better off seeking the opinion of a physician and going to emergency at a hospital. You know, this is kind of interesting. We've had non-stop fishing most of the day. A few fish here, a few fish there. Oh, this is another eating size one. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Okay, Amir. He's fighting back.
Okay, are you ready?
Head first.
Right in the net. Good net job. Good eating size.
This is a good one.
You know, I'm thinking here, Amir, of all the water that we've got here, you know that in Canada, you probably know this, we have over 1 million lakes, rivers, and streams. And we're fishing one of the Great Lakes right now, Lake Ontario. There you go, Yuda. Whoa, are you okay?
Yeah.
You don't get spined. We're fishing really Lake Ontario. This is the eastern basin called the Bay of Quinte. When I think of all the water we have, and I'll never get a chance to even fish a fraction of all the lakes, and I think of how small Israel is, it's the size of Lake Ontario, and how precious water is to Israel, and that you still are able to do everything, you know, supply water for drinking water, water for irrigation, for everything else. It must be pretty interesting, because I know sometimes it can get very difficult if you have dry years.
It's very, very true. However, it's again the innovative thing. Israel have the largest in the world desalination plant at the south of Israel. But I think more interestingly for Canadians, I have to tell you a story.
Yes.
Some years ago, there were huge problems of water quality at Lake Winnipeg.
Yes.
And as you can imagine, Lake Winnipeg,
It's huge.
it's bigger than the state of Israel.
Wow.
And of all the places in the world, the Manitoba Minister for Water Stewardship, Christine Melny, she collected together a group of experts that needed to go somewhere internationally to learn in other places of new ideas how to maintain the quality of the water at Lake Winnipeg. Can you imagine where they went?
Israel?
They went to Israel. They went to the Sea of Galilee, as we said, where Jesus walked on water, and where the best world-class techniques for water quality are being introduced, because that is actually the only fresh body of water in Israel. And Israel actually, the whole of Israel, the whole 7 million people drink out of this lake.
Wow.
And we don't have another source like that, so this is not something we can let be polluted. Right. So a lot of energy and thoughts are going into preserving the quality of water, and it was so successful that people from Manitoba choose to come and learn how to do.
That's amazing.
So we were happy that we can, give a little to our bigger friend Canada.
Good, that's wonderful. Well, we have no shortage of water here, that's for sure, as you can see. And especially this year, we have had so much rain. I know it's always a blessing in Israel when it rains, because they can use the fresh water.
Canadian Sport Fishing has been brought to you by Rapala Premium Fishing Gear, crafted from experience. Yamaha on the water. This is my Yamaha. What kind of Yamaha are you? Dickies, a legend in work since 1922. Lucky Strike. More fish fight with a Lucky Strike.
You know, I tell people every year that this is the #1 crankbait to use down here on the Bay of Quinte. Whether you're fishing the upper bay, which is the stretch from about Trenton all the way to Deserano, or the lower bay, which is a stretch down in Picton, Hay Bay, and all the way out to Lake Ontario. It's called a tail dancer, and the size is #9, which means it's 9 centimeters long, and the color hot chub. And I stress to people every year that if they're looking to buy this bait, if they don't buy it by about May, they're usually sold out all over Canada. So they're very hard to find. The good news though is that there's a new series in the tail dancer, and it's called a bleeding lip, and I'm going to hold it up right here. And these seem to be available in higher quantities. They call it a bleeding lip because you can see that the lip is red in color as opposed to clear. and it's also equipped with red hooks. This is also called a hot chub, and you can see that the base is very similar as far as the yellow. So the new Bleeding Lip series in the Tail Dancer, my two favorite colors that work well down here on the Bay of Quinte is the hot chub and also the pearl with the black back.